Hi friends, I'm recording this video. I want to show you how to make a new media item based on some email information that I'd like to save and keep it in a place where we can get to it later versus have it be lost in space. So I'm going to add a media item here. And it comes up. I want to do it in the basic wiki mode, wiki text mode. Here is the email. It's there's a big section in here which is between Gary and Tom Palmisano. Actually, it's this whole thing. So I'm just going to collect all of it. And I actually think the better way to do this is, instead of being in the basic mode, is to go over into the WYSIWYG mode, because it actually does let you paste stuff in really well. We're not gonna, this is not an event related topic, so we're just gonna delete this section. Oops. What happened there? Just gonna delete that section. And now I'm gonna paste in from that email. And not really worry about how it looks. Just put it in. It's gonna turn out pretty good. Now I'm gonna say here, email regarding questions to Tom Palmisano on San Onofre. Citizens oversight is the, and I actually authoring this topic, even though it's a Gary and Donna. I'm gonna put it in as today. There's no media links. This is going to be on stop, nuke, dump, but basically it also includes shut San Onofre. And we're going to also include the fact that it is an energy policy and a nuclear energy and nuclear waste issue. This is an article on the page. We would have a linked article if there was a link to something else. This is actually hard-coded in. And I would say it would be nice to say the email, but that's all right if you don't have exactly. And then we're going to save it. And we need to get a couple of attachments here too. So you can see it turns out pretty good, even though we didn't do anything to it. It's pretty much what we had in the email. Okay, then we want to include the attachments in the email. We're going to have to put these someplace temporarily while we pull them up. They're just here in the email, so we're going to save them all. And where are we going to put them? Well, remember, we know what, this is on my local system. What I do is M1774. No, that's not it. Let's see. Save the save dialog box. What happened? So here it is. So it's saying where you want to save it. What I've started here on my system is in Cops, I have a website media where I have specifically a separate folder for each one. M1774 email. select that folder, and then it's going to save everything there. And then it's still saving. Okay, so now I'm going to now add those in. So we're going to go back over to our browser. We're going to attach. You can only do one at a time, unfortunately. Choose a file. And I'm going to pick that same folder. Website media. There it is. Okay. So they have these two things that are referenced. Create a link to it. Now, if there's any spaces, it's going to get rid of those spaces through you to say okay to that. It gets rid of any weird characters in the name, so it's compatible with the system. And then want to add the other one. There's ways to add all these in at once, but I'm not going to try to cover that here. If you just have a small number, easiest way, just add them one at a time. Right now, it's going to put those, unfortunately, way at the very, very end after the footer. So we want to move those up. At this stage, I don't have a way to get those to be inserted at the right place and still have a footer. So we take these attachments right here, Control X to cut, move them up above the footer. Now I want to designate the end of the email by a horizontal line, just like that. At the top of this, I think I want to designate that this is an email. Second level header. From Gary Hedrick. Sam Vente. Okay, and save. Now, it is published. You don't have to do anything unless you want to hide it, but just for completeness, we'll do it there. Save. All right, now, here is the topic name. And I have this header here about the email so that we can see it and everything that's in it. And then the attachments. Okay, so that's done. It's an example of adding a media item based on an email that you just want to try to collect that email and its attachments. And you can see what I did here was I did a WYSIWYG paste for the entire email, and then I put in the attachments one by one. Before I leave, let's just take a look at the raw version of this email. You can see it does a pretty good job of just putting this in. You can see here it's especially formatted, but basically it just uses the simple the same controls, the same HTML controls that were in the original. A lot of these are worthless. Like underline, do not underline, underline, do not underline. That's just a waste. I don't know why they have that in there. So if we want, we could just get rid of all of this underline, do not underline. That's somehow an artifact from the original. And underline, do not underline. I don't understand that really, why that gets in there. If you want to clean it up, if you know HTML and you see crap like that, then you can. It's kind of just what happens with when you paste stuff in, you don't know where you're getting it from. These are just a bunch of extra controls in there. Being meaningless if you underline and then don't underline. I don't want to miss that one. Same down here. Why it comes up with the underline and do not underline, I don't know. For our purposes, it's kind of nice not to have it so that we can have a clean version to start with. And then puts these in all over the place. Underline, do not underline. Underline, do not underline. What is the sense of that? 2 times in a row. So, since I know that's what it is, just getting rid of it just to clean this up. And this is why I kind of like the raw mode better. So here's also, well, you have to kind of be careful there. Italic, not italic. No, not reasonable. So sometimes may or may not be worth doing this sort of thing. I think, you know, if you know what you're doing, you can spend the time, but basically you don't need to because it's going to look the same. So I'm not going to do any more, but those could be taken out. It's not going to change the actual look of the page. It's just extra characters. Now I'm going to save it. You can see it looks exactly the same now. And then we have our attachments here right after horizontal line, and then the footer. Okay. Again, that was a capturing an email with attachments and putting it in as a media item into Copswiki. Thank you.